Booker T's A&E documentary was on this past Sunday. I've not had a chance to watch it yet. I've watched the previous ones, but a producer actually said that he had spent time talking to Booker about the WrestleMania 19 match with Triple H and said that they filmed the stuff, but it never got put in, so it got pulled. And Booker T responded on his podcast by saying, "How can it be pulled when it never actually got in? To write that it got pulled makes it seem like there was a whole lot of meat and potatoes in the bone of the story of Booker T and Triple H. I never gave that story a whole lot of credence or given a lot of thought to me losing that match. They talk about the story, and I understand that, but I never looked at my career and framed my career around a single match. I got paid more money for that match than I got paid for any match in my life. I'm not going to complain about that." Now, that's all very well for Booker T to sit there and say that. But we're going to come to the journalist in the room, Mr. Finley Martin. You were covering WWE at the time, at WrestleMania 19. I feel like Booker T is full of shit in this response. He must have been annoyed because how many seconds was it that Triple H waited post pedigree to pin Booker T?
This is what I wrote about it in Power Slam at the time. I put, Hunter, as in Hunter Hearst Helmsley's, ego, or Triple H would have been at the time, Triple H's ego continues to have a detrimental effect on the people around him and WWE's future. He figuratively castrated Booker T by waiting 23 seconds before he made the cover after he had executed the pedigree. Though it was Hunter's finest performance since SummerSlam, he again failed to leave second gear, which proved to me at least that the game of yesteryear is gone for good. That was just an additional piece of information about Triple H. Certainly the Booker thing, it was lots of people were talking about it at the time, and it just felt so unnecessary. And it was like just one of those sort of WWE moments where they did it because they could. They didn't do it
because we got to remember we've got to remember that the build up to that match was all about, you people don't win. That Triple H was saying in promos, they kind of, and the whole story was rags to riches. Booker T had been in prison when he was young. He was kind of fighting from the ground up, and then he loses like that. I just would be amazed if Booker T, and I've had a small number of interactions with Booker T, and from what I know, I just find it very hard to believe that he would be cool, calm, and collected about that situation. I feel like maybe he's had to mellow over the years.
Yeah, I mean, well, he knows he's still working for WWE, so he knows how to play the game. So he knows what to do and what to say and when. And he's on a cushy number right now. It's hard for me to believe that he'll wrestle again. And it's like, is he going to upset WWE? One of its high-ranking players, the guy who's going to run it in future, by speaking out of turn. He's on the team, he's going to toe the line. I mean, to me, Booker was emasculated that night by Triple H for no good reason other than because it was something that Triple H could do. To me, it was an abuse of power. Why wait that long after the pedigree? I mean, I remember watching it and thinking, oh, he's waited all that time after the pedigree. Booker's going to kick out for sure. And then he didn't. And it was like just sucked the life out of the room. And Booker's fans must have just been like, I cannot. But, it was almost like they were imitating Booker. Tell me I didn't just see that. It was almost like one of those moments, wasn't it? And I understand why he said the things that he did in reference to the documentary. That is the way it is. He's at this point in his life where he's making money as an analyst for WWE. He's got a good relationship with them. He does not want to jeopardize that by burying one of the top execs there. So I get it, but no one can tell me that wasn't detrimental to Booker's career.
Yeah, 100%. I was there that night in Seattle. It was my first WrestleMania, and it really did just kind of, punch it just sort of killed the atmosphere for a minute. I mean, luckily there was so many big matches later that night that people got back, but people really wanted Booker T to win the title that night. It's kind of forgotten about how much momentum he had. He'd won a battle royal, I think, by eliminating The Rock and stuff. There was a lot of stuff he did in the lead up that kind of built him, and it just felt like inevitable he was going to win. But they did what they did. Exactly. So, listen,
and just think how much further Booker could have gone had he scored the win that night, and then Triple H could have beaten Booker at a later date and he would have still been in that same position, but Booker would have been elevated as a result.